decimal.
Okay.
And if you hit math, enter, enter, you will get a fraction.
Okay.
And that will help you to get the right numbers.
Okay.
So will you do that for us, please?
Yeah,
So
give me a -1/7.
right, there you go, good. And then if you're struggling with how to manipulate the numbers times the fractions, there's no judgment. There's just, hey, use the calculator. If you're not sure what 6 times 1/2 is or 7 times 6/7, just put it in the calculator.
Okay.
Okay, so here's where it gets a little dicey. This is the correct answer. Your Pearson will take this as the correct answer,
Okay.
but it could appear differently on the multiple choice. There's a couple of ways to rewrite this on the multiple choice.
Okay. Okay. That was right.
So in terms of like how this could be rewritten, this is the one possibility. And this is what often gets business students taking this class at Eller is while like most students know how to do this, it's like being able to rewrite it like this. I don't know how it's going to appear. The negative means it goes to the bottom. The 1/2 is the square root of x.
Okay.
The negative means it goes to the bottom. X to the 1/7 is the 7th root of x.
Okay.
So I don't know what to tell you. Like maybe it'll, which I knew, because then I would tell you for sure. But
Yeah. Hopefully it's just the
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so this one is again an exponent rewrite situation here. You have to remember that like 1/x² is really x to the -2. So your rewrite is 6x to the -2. 7/x is really 7x to the -1. So let me put a 6 there, like that. So this is -7x to the -1. Yeah, like that. So this is just your rewrite. There's no calculus, no derivative yet. You have to be able to do this. And if you have questions on these rules, please let me know. Cover them
Okay.
in more detail. But now it's just like before. You're taking it's the constant times x to the n. So it becomes c times n x to the n -1. So you're bringing that exponent down. The derivative y prime or dy dx is 6 times -2 x to the -2 -1 -7 times -1 x to the -1 -1. And depending on your comfort level, you can do all this by hand. You can use the calculator. It
Okay.
doesn't matter. If you're unsure, just don't make the mistake of thinking like that's 0 on the right.
Right. Okay.
Um, so this is the answer. What would it maybe look like in your multiple choice? It might look like this, where the exponents go back to the bottom.
Okay. All right.
Any questions on that?
No, the first part makes sense. It's just have to practice a little with. I mean, it makes sense in the rewriting it for what it might be, but I just need
Okay.
practice with that.
Okay. Find the slope and the equation of the tangent line to the graph of the function of the given value of x. So whenever you see slope, slope is derivative at a point. What did we do in the last lesson for derivative at a point
Um,
on the calculator? What did we use?
and deriv.
N deriv. So it's giving you the x value. You want to do n deriv for that first part, please.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right, I got negative 45.999996.
So to me, okay, so that's one of the issues with the calculus. You have to realize that that's really negative 50.
Right. Okay.
And on the multiple choice, pretty clear.
Okay.
Um, so check that, please. And then I think there's a part B.
Okay, it said that's incorrect. Give me this whole long thing.
You put at x to the fourth minus 25x squared plus 144 at x equals 1.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, you're right. This is not what I maybe I misunderstood the number. It ends up being negative 46.
Okay. I thought that was a little far to be rounding, but okay, yeah, negative 46 was right. And then it asks for the next one is the equation of the tangent line.
Right. So the tangent, the equation of the tangent line requires, is it a y equals or is it just a box?
Just a box.
Okay. So the requires a slope, which we have, and point. The point is when you get x equals 1, you have to find the y value. So will you put 1 into this function and give me the y value, please?
Yes. I'm gonna put in my calculator just because I'm not. Uh, 120.
Y equals 120. Okay. Now, the equation of the tangent line, just like we did before this, you'll have to remember this.
Right.
Lots and lots to remember.
Minus 120 equals 46.
Negative 46, yeah.
Oh, yeah, negative 46. Oops. Okay.
Now, this is another potential issue on the uh exam is like this is point slope form. They could also solve for y,
And just put it into
slope
the
intercept form.
y.
So there's a couple ways you could figure out. You could try solving it. You could also graph your equation, but you have to solve it for y, meaning you have to move the 120 over and then graph the other ones. I mean, we don't know what to suggest.
Okay.
You'll have
But I
to,
can just do it like I can normally convert it, right? Like,
yeah.
okay. That I have a lot of practice doing, so I don't forgot about that. Okay. And then that was the last one.
Perfect. Okay. Uh, all right. So we're going to now, if this one, all right, let's do this correctly. Do the next one here. Find all points in the graph where the slope of the tangent line is 0. So you do have to take the derivative of this. So will you attempt to take a derivative of this for us, please?
Yes. Okay, so 2 times 9. So the first one, 18x minus 18.
All right, and we're trying to figure out where the tangent line is equal to 0, its slope is equal to 0, so you set the whole thing equal to 0 and solve for x, which is x equals 1. Perhaps most importantly is to always pay attention to what the blue stuff, purple stuff is there. I don't know, is that blue or purple to you?
Purple.
Purple, okay. It says ordered pair, which means we're not quite done.
Okay.
the x value is 1. To get the y value, you have to put it back into the original.
Okay.
So I get 9 minus 18 plus 9 happens to be 0. That worked out nicely.
So it'd be 1, 0.
Yes.
All right. And that was it for that one.
Excellent. Okay. So this is the same thing. It's just more complicated. So like if you're wondering like which one are you going to get on the test, you're probably going to get the easier one on the
Okay.
test. Like if you see two problems really similar, but because you know you need to answer a certain number of questions here, we'll call this one. The derivative is 3x squared plus 24x plus 55. But this time we're setting it equal to 7.
Okay.
Okay, now let's just say on your test you got a problem like this. You know, your multiple choice answers are going to be having some x values that you would then try.
Okay.
You know, that's how you do have to do a little calculus, but then maybe you try it out. Since we don't have the multiple choice answers, we'll have to do it. It's not that bad, but you end up subtracting 7 from both sides. And then everything is divisible by 3, which makes this a whole lot easier to factor. It ends up being x plus 4 squared. I'm skipping through this because again, you will have, you know, the first one will be like -4, and that one will work. So it ends up being x plus 4 equals 0, x equals -4. But again, that's just the x coordinate.
Okay.
You get the y coordinate, you have to put that back into the original, which just be really careful how you do this here. Let me snip it in one more time. What I show students seeing this for the first time is you really want to treat the variable like it's in parentheses, just the variable, so that when you substitute in, you're substituting in just for that, and you avoid sign errors.
Okay.
Will you you, will you try to reduce this for us, please?
Do I need to do it if I'm typing it in with the parentheses on a calculator?
Yeah, you really this is the calculator,
Okay.
and that it'll avoid sign errors.
Sweet. Oh, I got a syntax error. 1 second.
So make sure these are the negative operator, not the subtraction
I
operator.
think that's exactly what I did. Okay. I got -81.
Okay, so why don't you give that a try? -4, comma -81. See if that works.
Okay, that was right. And there's no more on that one.
Oh, good. All right, so this is moving into the more challenging derivative rules. This is the product rule. So it says use product rule. That's kind of nice. You're splitting it apart into an F and a G or a U and a V. So your F is the first thing. G is the second
Okay.
quantity.
I remember
And
this.
and you have to be able to take the derivative of each. So
Okay.
could you give me the derivative of each of these?
Yes. So for F, it's 8x, and G is just 5.
Just 5.
Okay.
So the derivative rule is you pair one with the derivative of the other, like the original with the derivative of the other, and then the flip of it. And it's essentially like combining diagonally.
Okay.
The order doesn't matter here, so but I'll follow the order of what I wrote here. All right, now this will work in Pearson. Your Pearson, you can enter all this in, but in your exam, it will be simplified, meaning they will multiply multiply in, they'll combine like terms. You'll have to do a little bit of work to get the uh, the
I
result.
see. Okay.
Now, what if I could incentivize you to learn these derivatives, it will be that the next exam, you can use the derivatives for what are called integrals to make them easier on the
Okay.
final. So that would be an incentive to actually do this now, learn it now. Um, it will shortcut the rest of the exam quite a bit
Okay.
on the next one. Any questions, thoughts on that?
No, I remember
All
that
right.
one.
So you will get a product rule, you will get a quotient rule. They're just don't think you won't. Uh, F over G, so it's the same setup. F is the top this time, but G is the bottom. Will you calculate the derivatives of each of these
Yes.
for me, please?
Right. So 4x for f and
Yep.
then for g 1.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So the derivative rule here is it's the bottom times the root of the top minus the top times the root of the bottom over the bottom squared. You will need to memorize this. Um, there's just no way around it. It's not the same as the other one where the order matters. Like you have to do G F prime minus F G prime. It has to be that order. That's where most students struggle. It's hard to remember. It
Yeah.
looks a lot like the other one.
Mhm.
And again, because it's just fill it in, you don't have to worry about simplifying, but on your exams, it's to be multiple choice. They're gonna simplify the top, multiply in, combine like terms, things like that.
Okay. And do you think, like, if I can't remember it exactly, the formula, do you think they're all going to be alike on the multiple choice or?
Usually can get down to two
Okay.
um, on that. There is another way to do it. I guess I should tell you that now. It goes back to using n deriv. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say you did n deriv of the original, and you pick the point like pick something odd like like 3.5, something like not zero, not one. And then if you evaluate each derivative in the multiple choice at that x value, the one will match.
Okay.
So if you did like n deriv of this 2x squared plus 1 over x minus 7, you'll get some horrible number, right? It'd be
Uh-huh.
really, really bad. But then you could evaluate each derivative at that same number in the multiple choice, and one of them will be a perfect one.
Okay. And then
Now we
it said
can't
that
do
was
that.
wrong.
What's that?
It said that was wrong when I put it in the.
Oh, there's a 7 here. I didn't, I really, sorry. Oops, that's a 7. That
Oh, okay.
I apologize. I'm not paying attention.
No, you're fine. I just looked closer. Um, it still says that's wrong.
Well, Pearson's just got problems today. Why is this? Did you change it in both places, the top and the bottom?
Oh, that's totally my fault. All right, there we go.
Right. Is that okay? Yeah,
Yes.
redo. Okay.
That one was right. And it's
Okay.
the top.
The next one here, and I'm all for looking for shortcuts. This one doesn't really have any. It's a quotient rule where you have to put the numbers in to the actual like straight derivative like rule. So you're not given functions this time. You just have to do that whole bottom times derivative of the top minus the top times the derivative of the bottom over the bottom squared. But you're doing it at 2. So x is really 2. So that derivative becomes that. So it's really g of 2, f prime of 2 minus f of 2, g prime of 2 over g of 2. And then you have to put those numbers in. So g of 2 is 4. So this is 4. F prime of 2 is 3. F of 2 is 7. G prime of 2 is 1. G of 2 is 4. There's no way to know if you're going to get like a nice answer. So it becomes 12 minus 7, which is 5 over 16.
Okay.
You do tend to get something like this on the test.
Okay. All right, that was correct.
Great. Let's see how we're doing on questions and time. Right, good. Yeah, we're good. What percentage are you up to on your overall?
At 58.9.
Ooh, we're really close. Okay, find
I'll
equation of the
schedule a
tangent.
couple sessions tomorrow too, so we can finish it and just keep
Okay,
stuff. So
good.
there's
Yeah. Find equation of the tangent line to the graph of f of x equals 2x minus 3. Okay. So again, tangent lines require you to have a point, which you have, slope, which you do not have, but you can get through n deriv. So I want you to put this in your calculator, n deriv, and then it's at x equals 2.
x equals 2. Okay. I got 11.
Okay, so the slope is 11. And so it's that same y minus y1, which is 5, equals 11, x minus 2.
Okay, that was correct.
All right, great. So the thing you want to keep looking for is the language. The language will tell you because these are all from a pool or a bucket of questions. That's how you know to use n deriv. Unfortunately, the next one has to be done by hand. It's a couple in a row here that the calculator will not help very much. So we're back to doing some rewrites. So the rewrite here is to treat this as y equals u to the power of 4. And u is really the 2x to the 4th minus 7x squared plus 8. And you should recognize by now that whenever we're putting something off to the side, we're going to have to take the derivative of it. But if we look just back at y, the derivative of y, this is power rule. Okay. You bring the 4 down, so this becomes 4u to the power of 3. But when you make this change, you always multiply by u prime.
Okay.
And if you're wondering what this is, it's a chain rule problem, but that's not, really important. it's to recognize that, okay, I don't know how to take the derivative of this thing because it has an inside function. Let's let u be that inside function. And then I can take the derivative of this, but I have to remember to multiply by u prime, which is what you're going to figure out over here to the right.
Okay. So it'd be 8x to the third minus 14x.
Perfect. That's it.
Okay.
And then you just back substitute. So it's 4 instead of u. You put in the 2x to the fourth minus 7x squared plus 8 power of 2. Now sorry, to the third. Now on your multiple choice, one of the multiple choice answers will be this, where they leave out this second part
Okay.
that you multiply by.
All right, that was right.
Excellent. So I'll try them again. I'll keep trying to show you ones that you can use with the calculator, but these are not those, unfortunately. So back to doing them by hand. Uh, this one you have to do again a rewrite, just like we did before. When it's on the bottom, you bring it up from a positive to a negative exponent.
Okay.
So that's a no calculus, just a rewrite there. And then because we don't know how to take the root of this, we're going to make this into something we do know how to, which is this u to the minus 4, where u is the 7x cubed plus 1. So now your derivative of this thing here that we just rewrote is the power rule like we've been doing. You bring that negative 4 down, subtract 1 from the exponent, so it's 20u to the minus 5 u prime. Don't forget that u prime. Could you calculate that for us off to the right whenever you're ready?
Yes, so it'd be 21x squared. Just that, right?
Yeah, 21x squared. So now it's just backfilling what you substituted for. This one might have a slightly different form where this power of 5 is on the bottom on the test of the multiple choice. If you're not sure what I mean by that, I can show you now. But this is the correct answer.
All right, that was all right.
Okay, I'm gonna skip the next one. We're gonna come back to it if we have time because these other ones are more direct, like
Okay.
we've been doing. And, so I don't know what number that is, but I know we're skipping a nip that I took. So
Okay.
okay, so tangent line. Find the equation of tangent line. The previous one we did, we used n deriv, and we are going to use n deriv again. But you can do that now or later. But you're gonna do n deriv of this function at 3.
Okay.
When you get your answer, you're probably going to get a decimal. So do a math enter, enter.
Okay.
Hopefully that will work.
I did enter, like as a fraction, it keeps just giving me the decimal.
Darn, darn. Okay. Let me, boy, so I don't want you to do this by hand because it's kind of awful, but the um the answers will have the slope in it.
Okay.
And I guess what I'm wondering is could you type in 3/7 in your calculator and tell me if it's the same?
Yes, it's the same.
Okay, so like that's where you've got to look at the answers and that number in front, and you could do it that way rather than doing it by hand. Okay, because now that you have the slope, you just need a point. So the x is 3. To get the y value of the point, you go back to the original. So you're going to put that 3 back in here. Could you calculate that for us, please?
Yes. So just put 3 into there.
Yep, yep. And if it doesn't work out, that's where you've got a problem, but hopefully it will.
I already got 7.
Yeah. So now normally we would write y minus 7 equals 3/7 x minus 3. But this time it says y equals, which means you have to move the 7 over to the other side of the equation. You don't have to expand, you just have to get it by itself. So this is the answer that they're looking for.
Okay, that was right.
So the next one here is another derivative. All right, so again, kind of a rewrite here. It's y equals 5e to the u, where u is this minus 4x squared. And what you should notice about all the times we've been doing it with this u thing, even if you don't fully understand it, the thing that we get it down to is much simpler, and you know how to take the derivative of this, or it's
Right.
in your derivative table.
Okay.
The derivative of e to the u is just itself times u prime.
Okay.
And that's what's yeah, that will help. So then you got to come off to the right here and take a derivative. What is the derivative of u?
Negative 8x.
Negative 8x. Good. Okay. And then you just backfill. You just put, okay, it's 5e to the minus 4x squared times minus 8x. Now on your multiple choice, it probably will look something like this: minus 40x e to the minus 4x squared. They'll probably combine those, but your current assignment will take this as is. The
Okay.
big thing here is to remember
Oh,
that the derivative
correct.
of, what's that?
They said that was incorrect.
Did you put parentheses around it?
Yeah. I typed it in just like how you have it in the box, except there's no multiplication. So I just did the parentheses right after instead of.
Yeah, why don't you try the one on the right then? I don't know, maybe it's
Okay.
being picky, finicky. The thing
Okay.
is that this minus 8x is on the same line as e. It's not in the exponent. That could also be a
Yeah.
potential.
I did it like that, but I think it just wanted the answer because that was or the multiplied out. Or-
Right. Find the derivative of the following function. So what you'd like to be able to see here, I'd like you to be able to see is that this is an f times a g. This is a product.
Okay.
So f is x to the 7th and g is e to the x. Can you give me the derivative of each of these, please?
Yes. E to the x. So it would just be 7 x to the sixth.
Good. And e to the x, the derivative of e to the x is always, always, always what?
Is 0.
Itself.
Oh,
Itself. It's like looking in the mirror,
okay.
I guess. Maybe that's not a, anyway. So product rule f prime g plus fg prime, you're pairing them diagonally. So it's like 7x to the sixth times e to the x plus x to the seventh times e to the x. Also another opportunity where this would be written maybe very differently in multiple choice, where they manipulated some things, factored out some stuff. But what you could do is you could multiply the answers to see if it got back to this. There's always something you can do. You're not stuck.
That's what multiple choice helps with.
Yeah.
Okay, that was right.
All right. So again, just like the previous ones, we're going to do a rewrite here. 7 to the u equals 8x plus 1. So your derivative here, this one's a little bit different. Your derivative is itself times the natural log of 7. That's a little added thing times the u prime. So that's the part that's probably not going to be in one of the multiple choice answers is you got to remember to look for that little extra thing there.
Okay.
So now you do have to be able to come off to the right and calculate u prime. That's 8, 8 like that. So now it's just substituting back in. Okay, so it's 7 to the 8x plus 1. And these are all on the lower level here of the natural log of 7 times 8. You can't go wrong using parentheses um, to separate things.
Oh. Okay, that was right.
Let me see how much this last one we can get done. So I'm going back up like 4 or 5 problems with this table. I don't know exactly which number it was, but we can do it now.
This one scares me a little bit.
It looks looks more intimidating than it really is.
I know.
So here's what they're asking for. Forget out that dx part. They're just saying take the derivative of this. So this is a straight, like from that reference sheet I sent you, which I can happy to put in the chat again if you need. This is the chain rule. It's f prime of g of x times g prime of x. And then you're doing it at 3. So it's f prime g of 3 times g prime of 3. So this is the part you have to remember. You have to remember that. Because then you'll really like, oh, I'm just putting 3 in for x. So you start here, you do the g first, then the f prime, then the g prime. So g of 3, you go to your table here, you find 3. There's 3. G of 3 is 2. So this is 2, so it's f prime of 2. F prime of 2, you go to the top again, find 2, there's 2. F prime of 2 is negative 9. So this whole thing is negative 9 times g prime of 3. You go to 3, you go down and find g prime, which is 2/5. Oh, that's awful. So that becomes minus 18 over 5. None of the individual steps are all that difficult. It is more just that it just doesn't look right,
Right.
like you said. All right, go ahead and submit that. Let me know if there's any issues, and then we can do part B.
That's right. And then part B
It's
is x equals 1.
it is also the flip of it. So
Oh,
it's small. Yeah, I mean it'd be nice if it was the same. So
right.
this one's derivative is g prime of f of x times f prime of x. Okay. So we got at one, f of one, g prime of f of one times f prime of one. F of one is 3, g prime of 3. So you go to 3, go down, that's 2. That whole thing is 2. F prime of 1, you go to 1. There it is, -6. You got -12 for that. And we hit the goalpost there. We did really good.
Says
Getting,
that's incorrect.
ah, you said at 1 though, right?
Yes, x equals
F,
y.
f of 1 is 3, g prime of 3. I messed up, that's 2/5. -12/5. There it is. All right, Anna, that is going to do it for today. I don't know what percentage we're at, but I'm guessing you probably need at least another